Today on English You Should Know, we are learning all about relative pronouns. I'm your teacher, Morgan. Let's start learning. What is a relative pronoun? A relative pronoun connects two ideas or clauses in a sentence. They help us get more information about a noun. The most common relative pronouns are who, whom, whose, which, and that. There are two kinds of relative pronouns: defining relative clause and non-defining relative clause. The defining relative clause gives us necessary information to identify the noun. A non-defining relative clause is extra information that is not necessary to know. Let's look at an example of a defining relative clause. I called my sister who that lives in Miami. This means I have more than one sister, and I called the one that lives in Miami. Now, for the non-defining relative clause, my sister who lives in Miami is 2 years older than me. This means I have only one sister, but I mention our age difference. Is our age difference important? No, it's not. It's extra information. In this sentence, we offset the non-defining relative clause with 2 commas. A very important rule: we cannot use that in non-defining relative clauses. Let's take a look at these examples more closely. My sister, who lives in Miami, is 2 years older than me. What if we took out the relative clause, who lives in Miami? Does the sentence still make sense? My sister is 2 years older than me. Yes, it makes perfect sense because the information about where she lives is not important. Now to the defining relative clause. Remember, this gives us important, necessary information. I called my sister who that lives in Miami. What if we take out the relative pronoun? I called my sister lives in Miami. No, that is not a sentence. It is necessary here to have the relative clause because we need to know the sister and where she lives. Another example of a defining relative clause is I didn't know the teacher who taught us today. And for a non-defining relative clause, these pens, which are expensive, are made in Japan. And remember, we cannot use that for non-defining relative clauses. Let's take a closer look at each relative pronoun. Who. We use this for people. It refers to the person performing an action. Who is a subject pronoun, such as I, we, she, he, and they. To check if we know we are using the correct word, we can replace this relative pronoun with another subject pronoun. For example, who is traveling for work? You can say she is traveling for work. We cannot say her is traveling for work. Another example, who bought the cake? They bought the cake. Not them bought the cake. Remember, we can use it like a subject pronoun. Next up, we have whom. We use this for people. It's used more in writing, and it tells us who receives the action of the sentence. Whom is an object pronoun like me, her, him, us, and them. Let's see. Whom should I speak to about my computer? You should speak to him. Not he. You should speak to him. Whom would you like to see a movie with? I would like to see a movie with her. Not she, her. Whose is used to show possession. We use this for people, animals, and things. For example, the teacher wanted to know whose bag was on the floor. In this sentence, we want to know, who does the bag belong to? What person does the bag belong to? Or the police asked whose car is parked in the grass. Here we want to know, who does the car belong to? Which refers to objects and animals. The book which is on the table is mine. Here we get more information about the book. That is used with people, animals, or objects. That's the dog that we adopted. Here we get information about the dog. Now let's take a quiz. Can you read the sentence and complete it with the correct relative pronoun? Can you please return the calculator blank you borrowed yesterday? Can you please return the calculator that you borrowed yesterday? To blank did you give the book? Answer is, to whom did you give the book? The students blank test grades were low had to do more homework. The students whose test grades were low had to do more homework. Do you know anyone blank could fix my cracked screen? Do you know anyone who could fix my cracked screen? The cat blank was hit by the car was injured. The cat which was hit by the car was injured. Welcome back to my series all about basic English you should know. My name is Morgan. In today's lesson, we will learn all about comparatives and superlatives. And be sure to check out episode 1, all about relative pronouns. Let's get started. First up, we have comparatives. This is used to compare two things. If you have one big apple and one small apple, to compare them, we use comparatives. Let's see how we use them. For example, if apple A is bigger than apple B, you can say apple A is bigger than apple B. Why do we use bigger? For one-syllable adjectives, we add ER to the end of the word to compare them, like big becomes bigger, small becomes smaller. Some more examples, tall, taller. For adjectives with two syllables that end in Y, we take the Y and we add IER. For example, happy becomes happier. He is happier than the girl. Busy becomes busier. I am busier than my friend. And if a two-syllable adjective ends in ER, we add another ER. For example, bitter becomes bitterer. If the word already ends in E, we don't need to add the extra E. So simple becomes simpler with only one E at the end. What about longer adjectives like beautiful or expensive? Before that adjective, we use more or less. For example, this vase is more beautiful than that one. Or this book is more expensive than that one. The same with less. This car is less expensive than that one. All right, let's test your understanding. Is this sentence correct? This book is more interestinger than that one. You got it. That is not correct. We say this book is more interesting than that one. Interesting is a longer adjective, so we use more or less before it. Great job. Now, let's talk about the exceptions to these rules. For example, we don't say gooder, we say better. For example, Samsung Galaxy is a better phone than the iPhone. Not gooder than, that's not a word. You can say better than. For bad, we don't say badder, we say worse. Like this coffee tastes worse than that coffee. Now let's move on to superlatives. We use superlatives when we want to talk about one thing in a group of many. Imagine you have 3 apples and you want to talk about the biggest apple of the group. Here we use a superlative. For one-syllable adjectives, we add est. For example, big becomes biggest. And in this spelling here, we add one more G, biggest. Or tall becomes tallest, like he is the tallest person in the class. We're talking about one person out of a group of many. Another example is fast, fastest. This is the fastest car in the world. Old and oldest. He is the oldest person in our family. For 2-syllable adjectives that end in Y, we change the Y to an I and add est. For example, happy becomes happiest. Busy becomes busiest. For longer adjectives, we use most or least before the adjective. For example, this is the most beautiful flower in the world. Or, this is the least expensive coffee in this city. Let's check your understanding. She is the most talentedest singer, or she is the most talented singer. Which sentence is correct? You got it. She is the most talented singer. Some exceptions for superlatives is good and bad. The superlative form of good is not the goodest, it is the best. Like this is the best place to see the sunset. For bad, you can say worst. Like this restaurant has the worst service.
They're the worst. Seriously, the worst. Get out.
Let's practice a few examples together. I will read a sentence and you complete it with the correct superlative or comparative. This car is, then that one. This car is faster than that one. Number 2, out of all the students, John is the student. Yes, out of all the students, John is the tallest student. Number 3, her dress is, then mine. Yeah, her dress is more beautiful than mine. And last one, this is the watch in the store. Yeah, this is the most expensive watch in the store. You're here to learn English, aren't you? Today on English You Should Know, we are learning tag questions. Tag questions are short questions that we put on the end of statements. Tag questions are used to check for information or ask for agreement, such as, you're coming to the party, aren't you? You're coming to the party is a statement, and aren't you is the tag question. The structure of a tag question is quite simple. If the statement is positive, the tag question is negative. And if the statement is negative, the tag question is positive. You like coffee, don't you? She is a teacher, isn't she? They have finished the project, haven't they? Notice the verbs also agree. In the first example, we have like, so we're going to use the simple tense. Simple tense statements uses do in a question. In our second sentence, she is a teacher, we use the be verb. So the be verb is also used in the tag question. She is a teacher, isn't she? When using I in a positive statement, we say aren't I for the tag, like I'm pretty tired, aren't I? Next, if the statement is negative, your tag question is positive. You don't like tea, do you? He isn't coming to the meeting, is he? They haven't seen the movie, have they? How you say a tag question can change the meaning. If your intonation rises at the end, you're asking for confirmation. If your intonation falls at the end, you're likely looking for agreement or you already know the answer. Listen to this rising intonation. You're coming to the party, aren't you? I raise the intonation because I'm genuinely not sure and I need the answer. Now listen to the falling intonation. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Here, I'm not asking for confirmation. I am sure that it is a beautiful day. Now let's practice. I will provide you with the statement and you say the tag question. She can speak French. She can speak French, can't she? They aren't coming to the party. They aren't coming to the party, are they? You finished your homework. You finished your homework, haven't you? He doesn't like spicy food. He doesn't like spicy food, does he? We should start the meeting. We should start the meeting, shouldn't we? You liked this video, didn't you? Today on English You Should Know, we are learning on, at, and in. I'm your teacher, Morgan. Let's start learning. A preposition is a word we use to describe location, direction, or time. On can be used in a number of ways. The first way is used to express the surface of something. I put a book on the table. The bag is on my desk. It is also used to specify days and dates. I go to the gym on Thursdays. When we make Thursday plural, this means we do it almost every Thursday. It can also be used for dates, like I was born on March 28th. We can use on to indicate a device or a machine. I am on the phone right now. She has been on her computer since 6 a.m. this morning. We can use on to indicate a part of our body, like I have a cut on my knee. He kissed the baby on the cheek. We can also use on to indicate the state of something. The building was on fire. The store is closing and everything is on sale. At can be used for a specific time or day. My meeting starts at 2 p.m. I get off work at 5:30 p.m. I like to read at night. We can also use at for a specific location or address. Let's meet at the library. I live at 103 Main Street. When you say where you live and you include the number and the street, we use at. If you only say the name of the street, use on, like I live on Main Street. But when you include the number, use at. I live at 103 Main Street. In is used for unspecified times of day, month, season, or year. I like to run in the morning. Remember, we used at for night. For the morning, afternoon, and evening, we use in. But if you use the word night, it's always at night. In the winter, I like to ski. My new class starts in April. I was born in 1989. In can also be used to describe a larger place, like a country or a city. He was born in Algeria. I live in Washington, D.C. There's a movie theater in the mall. Now it's your turn. Can you complete these 6 sentences using on, at, or in? My phone was on the table. Where did it go? She has a doctor's appointment in the morning. It doesn't snow a lot in winter. My birthday is on March 28th. His birthday is in April. They left at 9 a.m. He walked to school or he walks to school. In this episode of English You Should Know, we are learning the simple present tense. The simple present tense is used in 3 ways: habits and routines, facts and general truths, and scheduled events. For most sentences, we use the subject plus a base verb. We also use a subject, base verb, and S or ES. For subjects, he, she, and it, add S or ES to the base verb. Like, he eats an apple. She reads a book. For I, you, we, and they, we do not add S to the base verb. I read, you read, we read, they read. No S or ES. Let's look at some examples for each way to use the simple present tense. Habits and routines, like I drink coffee every morning. If this is something you do all the time, you can use the present tense. She goes to the gym twice a week. They walk their dog in the evening. For things that are facts or general truths, the sun rises in the east. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. And for scheduled events, the train leaves at 8 a.m. Our class starts at 10 a.m. every Monday. The movie begins at 7. To make a sentence negative, use do not and does not. Do not shortens to don't, and does not shortens to doesn't. I don't like playing video games. She doesn't play video games. When we make a negative sentence, we don't add S or ES to our base verb. To make a question, use do or does at the beginning. Do you like ice cream? Does he work on weekends? To answer in a short way, you can say, yes, I do, or no, I don't. Yes, she does, or no, she doesn't. Can you complete the sentence? My brother books every night. My brother reads books every night. Can you make this sentence negative? They eat breakfast at 7 a.m. They don't eat breakfast at 7 a.m. Can you turn this sentence into a question? You like chocolate. Do you like chocolate? Here is how to talk about actions in the past. The simple past tense is used to talk about actions that have finished in the past, like yesterday, 2 years ago, 5 minutes ago. For example, if our verb is walk, this is a regular verb that means the spelling does not change in the past. For this one, we add ed. So, I walk to school every day. That's the simple present. In the past, I walked to school yesterday. For regular verbs, all you need to do is add ed to the end of the verb. Play becomes played. I played the trumpet in elementary school. Clean becomes cleaned. I cleaned my bathroom yesterday. Talk becomes talked. I talked to my mother on the phone last night. Work becomes worked. I worked all weekend. Here are the top 10 most frequently used regular verbs in the past tense. Want, wanted. Try, tried. Look, looked. Ask, asked. Use, used. Need, needed. Work, worked. Talk, talked. Start, started. Help, helped. There are 3 common sounds that are used with ed endings. They are T, D, and ID. For example, work becomes worked. Do you hear the T sound at the end? It's not worked. No, it is worked. For a verb like play, it sounds like played. The sound is a D sound, played. And need becomes needed, needed. The ending makes an ID sound. Again, worked, played, needed. Can you practice saying these sentences with me? I'll say it and then you say it. I cleaned my room yesterday. I cleaned my room yesterday. She talked to her friend last night. She talked to her friend last night. We worked on the project together. We worked on the project together. What did you do yesterday? Can you tell me in the comments using the past tense? Can you take these sentences and change them into the past tense? I play soccer. The correct answer is I played soccer. She cleans the house. She cleaned the house. They work at the office. They worked at the office. Yesterday, I watched a movie and I played the piano and I go to school? No, I went to school. Today, we will learn the irregular form of the past tense. The simple past tense is used for actions that have finished in the past. For regular verbs, we add ed to the end of every verb, like I watched a movie. I played piano. There are some words that are irregular. Irregular verbs change in the past. For example, I went to school yesterday. The past tense of go is went. Like in the present, I go to school every day. In the past, I went to school yesterday. Eat becomes ate. She eats breakfast at 8 a.m. In the past, she ate breakfast at 8 a.m. What time did you eat breakfast this morning? Let me know in the comments. See becomes saw. They see a movie every weekend. In the past, last weekend, they saw a movie. Take becomes took. I take the bus to work every day. In the past, yesterday, I took the bus to work. Give becomes gave. He gives his friend a gift every year on his birthday. In the past, last week, or last year, he gave his friend a gift. To make a negative sentence, use did, not, plus the base verb. In negative sentences, we do not need to change the verb. The past of do is did, so did is already in the past. For example, I ate pizza yesterday. To make this negative, I did not eat pizza yesterday. It's common for did not to be shortened to didn't. I didn't eat pizza yesterday. I didn't go to work this morning. Now, let's see some of these verbs in action. Can you listen to the dialogue? Pay attention to the irregular past tense verb. What did you do yesterday? I went to the park and saw some ducks. Then I ate lunch at a cafe. That sounds fun. What did you eat? I took a sandwich and gave some crumbs to the birds. Did you hear the verbs? You heard went, saw, ate, took, and gave. Now it's your turn. I will give you a sentence in the present tense. Can you change it to the past? Number 1, I go to the store. The answer is, I went to the store. Number 2, she eats a banana. The correct answer is, she ate a banana. Number 3, we see a rainbow. The correct answer is, we saw a rainbow. Number 4, he takes a picture. The correct answer is, he took a picture. Number 5, they give us a gift. The correct answer is, they gave us a gift. Welcome back, friends. Do you like this face? I made it myself. Just kidding, I didn't. But myself is an example of a reflexive pronoun. Let's learn about them. Reflexive pronouns are little words that help us talk about actions that we do to ourselves. We'll learn all of the reflexive pronouns and learn some idiomatic expressions we can use with them. Reflexive pronouns end in self for singular and selves for plural. The reflexive pronouns are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. We use reflexive pronouns when the subject and the object of the sentence are the same. I cut myself cooking. Who did I cut? I cut. I cut my own finger. They taught themselves Spanish. This means they did the learning alone. Let's look at some common mistakes people make with reflexive pronouns. A woman is standing at the mirror. She looked at her in the mirror. What's the problem with this sentence? You got it. She looked at herself in the mirror. Here, the woman is looking at her own reflection. The subject and object are the same in this sentence, so we use herself. We enjoyed us at the party. The subject is we, so the reflexive pronoun should be ourselves. We enjoyed ourselves at the party. Now, let's take these reflexive pronouns and try to complete the sentence. I washed the car. Myself. I washed the car myself. He did everything. He did everything himself. We baked the cake ourselves. We baked the cake ourselves. Young children can't take care of themselves. We use themselves because children is plural. Kelly painted the picture herself. Kelly painted the picture herself. The car door locks by itself. The car door locks by itself. Now, let's learn some common idioms that use reflexive pronouns. Did you go to the movie by yourself? If you do something by yourself, this means you do it alone. Like, I did it all by myself. This means I did not have help from anyone. Help yourself to some snacks. Help yourself means to take as much as you need or as much as you want. You will often hear this if you go over to someone's house and they present you with food and they say, help yourself. This means take as much as you want. Don't believe me? Go see for yourself. See for yourself means to check out something personally to confirm your information. He's shy. He usually keeps to himself. If you keep it to yourself, this means you avoid socializing and you prefer to be alone. Make yourself at home. Make yourself at home is what someone might say to you when you enter their home. This means please be comfortable. Act like this is your house within reason and be comfortable. Now you've learned reflexive pronouns and some cool idioms. Now help yourself to that subscribe button and the like button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, friends.